It's scary because of the illness and because you know what the end result is really going to be. You don't want to lose hope. You don't want to lose faith. And the phone rings, and it's the hospital, the doctor, and they say, "We have some news for you, Mrs. Berger. We're very concerned about this. After we did the tests, we find that there is a lesion on your brain." Here I had a husband who really was ill. He had difficulty just in functioning and moving, the weakness, the chemotherapy, the x-ray treatment, everything just debilitates you. The first day that I got to the Aishel House and Rachel came out onto the porch, she just told me, "You know, you come here, we have an apartment for you, you bring your parents, it's going to be comfortable, you just come here." And I said, "How much is it going to cost?" And she said, "You're not paying anything." It was a miracle to find a place in walking distance from these massive buildings of the city, and it's in a house. So you have the feeling of a home, yet you're in a major, major booming city. I guess I consider the Lazarofs our angels. They sat on our shoulder, were always behind us, always in front of us, always over us. Whatever we needed, we knew that we could call them and they would be there.
Still makes it the third most intense hurricane on record in the Atlantic Basin. Well, first of all, this is an unprecedented...
Unfortunately, during the time we were there, we were involved with...
Hurricane Rita is sustaining its strength, 175
which presented us with an extremely difficult situation. And now they're telling us they're going to close the hotel, and where are we going to go? What are we going to do? We had to get out of the hotel. We spent hours on the telephone trying to get a flight out to anywhere. I called Rabbi Lazaroff, and in his generosity, he took us to his home. I said we would take a cab and come to his house. He said, "Absolutely not. If your sister needed a ride, would you let her take a cab? I'm coming and picking you up." Rachel was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, baking challahs that had to be walked to the medical center and hiked up the steps by Rabbi Lazaroff to make sure that everybody still got their Shabbos challahs. It was the most unbelievable 3 days we ever spent. We were with family, and that's what Aishel House is. Aishel House is family. We are talking about life and death, and this is a crisis, a severe crisis in someone's life. And doctors do the best they can, but they're overwhelmed. The cancer center's just filled with massive amount of people now. I've seen a difference in the last 4 years. Cancer is the disease of my generation, unfortunately. When I think of the Aishel House, I think of this little house just all lit up like a beacon of light and warmth and love in the middle of this cold crisis that you're facing. I actually got a lot of strength from being there and the strength to fight.
When we ended up being introduced to the Aishel House, I didn't know what we were going to expect. How was the room going to be? Is it going to be warm, cold, what neighborhood? And when we got there, it was a wonderful, clean-kept room. We were shocked how beautiful the room was. It gave you a feeling of being at home. That really helps a patient, especially Jennifer, knowing that she had a kitchen, knowing she had a TV, she could hook up the computer there. And it was a wonderful environment to stay that gave her the strength to continue to fight a battle against cancer.
People need support. It's a very stressful situation, a very stressful period. The more you can do to decrease the stress, the better it is for the patient and the family. I think it's an entity that we here in Houston need as an essential part of the medical center, because there are very few places in this country that have this kind of emotional and physical support that Aishel House provides.
They spend an unbelievable amount of time with their volunteers to make sure that the people at the Texas Medical Center, at MD Anderson, have some Jewish connection.
Whenever I came in, the rabbi and Rachel would put out a notice, and sort of these wonderful volunteers would just crop up and pick me up at the airport.
And when they see me there at the airport, I can see a very direct feeling of comfort that they right away have, because they feel like they're at home. Somebody's there to pick them up, to help them with their luggage. They're totally at ease. And so really the whole airport pickup has a very special meaning. I'm a better man for it. I think I'm giving my family, my children, a wonderful example. This is what life is all about.
Aishel House, I admire them greatly. When you meet all of a person's needs and all the emotional support that Aishel House provides, their loving ways, it's invaluable. It's everything a person needs.
One of the things that I look for is charities, either charities or places that I want my money to go to the best use. And I know through my experience with Aishel House and what they've done for me, I want things to go to them. They are my charity of choice. One of the things I'm passionate about is helping them do what they do and what their dreams are for the future, because their dreams can only help other people like me. What I would ask is that you look inside your hearts and look inside your passions and give it some place where it's actually going to matter, and people like myself that were champions can once again champion a cause that is well worth it. And that would be my final words and wishes.
I will never, ever be able to thank Rabbi Lazaroff for the comfort he gave Aaron the last days, the hours that he spent with them. And how do you say thank you to something like this? And Aishel House just didn't do it for me. They do it all the time.
Thank you very much to Rachel and to Laser and to the family and to the volunteers, to Carol Kershon, and everybody over there in Houston. I want to say thank you, and I love you all.